I'm Lindsay with Loke Dogs Dog Training in Grand Haven, Michigan, and today I'm with Voyager talking about puppy socialization. All right, so socialization is essentially, simply put, it is just how we expose our puppies to the environment in a way that helps them truly become comfortable and confident with their surroundings. So over the course of your puppy's life, this is going to be not only people and animals and dogs, but also flooring surfaces, sights, sounds, just this wacky, wild, unnatural world that we live in. So we can be very intentional with how we help build their confidence and expose them at an early age, because puppies have a unique socialization window from about 7 weeks to 4 months of age where they're developing neural pathways, and this is the easiest time to help them learn that what is safe and unsafe and just to how to be neutral in the world. It's not that we can't do it later in life, but it's just going to take a lot more work. For a dog that isn't properly socialized in puppyhood, the world can be terrifying to them, and it's truly whether it's people or sounds, lots of different things can scare dogs as they get older, but it's something that if we can do it up front, it's gonna be so much easier than if we do it later in life. So today, this is Jade. She's a 5-month-old dachshund, dash hound, wiener dog, whatever you wanna call it, but a dachshund puppy, and we are gonna go over how to introduce her to a new person. This is Kaylee Sniller. She's a senior trainer at Loke Dogs, and she is going to help me do an introduction with sweet little Jade here. We're going to demo how to introduce a puppy to a new person. So the first thing that we're doing here is letting Jade sniff Kaylee without any attention from Kaylee. Essentially, no talk, touch, or eye contact at first. I want the person to just pretend the puppy is invisible. Let the puppy experience them on their own 4 paws without any attention from the new person. If the puppy is overexcited, that attention is going to excite the puppy more. If the puppy is nervous, that attention is going to make them more nervous. So coming in neutral is key. Now that Jade has sniffed Kaylee, a couple things we could do. I'm going to have Kaylee take a little treat and just break some corners off and offer it to Jade, making it optional for her, just offering the food. Now at this point, if there were to be any hesitation from Jade, which there wasn't, Jade came right up and took the food, but if we see that internal conflict where the puppy's like, I want the food, but I don't want the person, my modification to this is just to ask the person to toss the food on the ground, even like 6 feet away, where we're giving the puppy the option to move away from the person and still get the food, but because the person touched the food, their scent is on it. So the puppy is still experiencing the scent of the new person without having to have that internal conflict about not wanting to approach. But she is very confident. She took the food right away, which means we can keep going with a little bit of attention. You want to offer her some pets and lovin's? Yeah. The key here is just making sure that it is a good experience for the puppy. We want to expose our dogs to a lot of different people, and a lot of the time that doesn't have to happen up close. That can be at a distance, but for these up close interactions, I want to emphasize quality over quantity. I don't want to just take a puppy into a crowd of people and let the puppy become totally overwhelmed. I would rather start with these more one-on-one interactions, really going at the puppy's pace so that the puppy develops a good experience with meeting new people. So with introducing puppies to people, we just want to make sure it's a good experience. I also want to emphasize introducing your puppy to lots of men and children. This could look like going to hardware stores, sitting outside of playgrounds, having your puppy's lunch in a little baggie and just feeding them in the presence of those people, just because those men and children as well as accessories can be harder later in life. So look for men in hats with sunglasses and beards, and of course going at your puppy's pace. Let them learn that those are no big deal. Next most important is dog introduction. So we are going to introduce Jade to a variety of different dogs, and when we do this, the key here is that we find dogs that are tolerant of puppies, meaning they will give corrections, they're going to give her feedback, but I know the limits of these dogs and they're not going to resort to violence to set a boundary with her. For introducing your puppy, I would always suggest enrolling in a puppy class where there is off-leash play for puppies to interact, mouth on each other, learn bite inhibition. You can also set up play dates. That would be similar to what I'm about to show you with the introductions with our pack. We're going to start with introducing Jade to Kaylee's Australian Shepherd, Archie. So they're going to come down now. And we're just gonna let them have a natural conversation. Archie does a lot of these types of intros where he's very good at reading the room and giving a puppy what they need in any given moment. He has a very high tolerance for puppy behavior and kind of that rudeness that comes along with not having a lot of social experience. There, oh, now she's ready. Right? It's also not always going to end in play. Like sometimes, depending on the conversation, the older dog might not be interested in play. Some older dogs don't necessarily want to play with puppies. He sometimes does, but to me, it's all about just them kind of having this neutral conversation, and then we want to end while we're ahead. I don't want to wait until the older dog gets so sick of the puppy that they have to resort to overcorrecting. I mean, the puppies tire out quickly, so I'd rather keep it kind of short and sweet and yeah, just let them follow each other around, use their noses, and get used to each other. So the importance of these conversations is not that it automatically results in a giant puppy play pile. It's really about them just having a neutral conversation, learning each other's limits, and ending while we're ahead. I don't necessarily want to wait until the older dog has to really overcorrect the puppy. It's okay if they do have to give those little bits of feedback to help the puppy learn what's socially appropriate and what is not. But a lot of the time I think we go into these interactions thinking, oh, they have to play, they have to love each other. And to me, it's just about, let's learn to be neutral, just existing together in each other's presence. And that's where we want to start and end those conversations. This is an example of showing how to introduce a puppy to an adult dog that is puppy tolerant. Next, we're going to do an introduction with my puppy Pipsqueak, where you're going to see a little bit more wild, crazy, fun puppy play. All right, you can send little Pips down. Okay, coming in a little hot, but letting them get their sniffs in. Right now they're just getting information about each other. Clearly getting the goods from the behind, but learning about what each other eats, age, sex. I don't love him coming in and immediately pushing her over like that, but he's a little overly confident. He's very socialized. He plays with a lot of older dogs, and so he's kind of already lost his puppy pass a little bit, whereas and he's intact. That's the other thing. He gets neutered next week, so we are seeing a little bit more pushiness from him right now. She's doing great with it, but I will start pumping his brakes if that continues. Pips, yes. Giving her a little break. So now I'll hold his attention with food for a sec. Okay, she's like, I just want the food. Letting her smell his rear end. Yeah, if you ever have two puppies playing and you're wondering, is this consensual play? A really easy thing to do is to call the puppies away or just simply separate them. And if they both run back towards each other, that is consent. Or as I pull him away, Pips, yes. She's coming right back in for more. That tells me she's into it. If she were running away, I would be setting the boundary with him. I'd be working them more at a distance if she weren't comfortable. They're gonna get a little tangled on their lines and whatnot, but we'll see. So this might look very violent, but this is just how a lot of puppies play. They both seem, there's a lot of give and take. She's biting him, he's biting her. No one's actively trying to run away. We can occasionally call them just to see, or for them to see if they follow or need space. With introducing your puppy to other puppies, I think the most important thing is letting them have natural puppy conversations while advocating for both puppies and making sure things are consensual. One puppy isn't overly dominating or rolling or being too intense with the other puppy. And if you're ever wondering, just separate them, see if they run back together. And that's how we make sure that it is consensual and that everyone's having fun. All right, so the next introduction is with my older dog, Aria. She is an 11-year-old Formosan mountain dog from Taiwan. She's kind of more of a cat. Not as playful, but she'll be the dog that is going to kind of come in a little more slowly and set good boundaries with the puppy. If the puppy goes to jump on her face, she'll probably give a little air snap, something like that, just to show the puppy what's appropriate and what's not. And these interactions are also very important for little puppies to learn how to behave around older dogs. Just what's most important for owners is to make sure that the older dog on the other end is puppy tolerant and is not going to overcorrect to the point of injuring your dog. Nice. Hi. Yeah, so because Ari doesn't like having her booty snipped as much, Ari, yes. I'll just hold her attention with a treat for a moment. Of course, Jade just wants to treat too. Well, how anticlimactic was that? Just a little sniff, but honestly, that's great. I don't need anything much more out of that. They sniffed, they had a polite conversation. Yeah, Aria's MO is usually to sniff around, and then we'll see what she does here. Okay, going in for the sniff. Jade's just like, I just want more snacks. Beautiful. But honestly, learning to ignore each other, I'm sure Aria was giving her some pretty subtle cues back there of like, hey, I'm not into that right now. And Jade's listening. So that's the beauty of the lesson there. So that was a great example of an older dog that's not particularly interested in interacting with the puppy, but Jade read her signs. They had a little bit of sniff, great interaction. Both dogs were neutral, and then they went on their merry ways. All right, so our next introduction is gonna be with my 2-year-old Rottweiler. His name is Sigmund. He's gonna come in a lot more hot. He's pretty excitable. He might run around the yard a little bit. He is very tolerant of puppies. He plays all the time with Pipsqueak and has a very soft mouth, but it's really great for her to experience that higher energy, that more intensity in a big dog. And then we'll let them have their natural conversation and we'll explain from there. Oh. So I like the low, loose wag on Sigmund's tail. It's like a nice big fan. She's getting under there. What's under the hood? He'll probably drop, into a play bow pretty soon, and this is where he's going to try to rip around. Yeah, he does a good job of what I call handicapping. Like if I didn't know his limits so well with a lot of other puppies, I wouldn't let a dog of his size do this, but he'll get big, he'll be crazy, and then he'll kind of melt. He's also pretty good about not stepping on them or yeah, he's got the paw on her, like the labs. Siggy, come. Shh, come. Yes. So I like to always make sure that I can call my dog off of another dog as well, even though there was a tiny moment where I sensed she was a tad uncomfortable. And I'm very conscious of, I'm not gonna let my dog make another dog uncomfortable. So if I can't call him off of that, then he doesn't deserve that privilege of play, but he was able to come off. What a good boy, yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really think about. They just let dogs play and have these natural conversations. But if you can't recall your dog and your dog is making another dog uncomfortable, that's not pleasant for anyone. So with the interaction with Sigmund, obviously Siggy's a lot of dog. He likes to play hard. She handled it beautifully, but of course we're always advocating for everyone. Through all of her interactions, she did fabulously. This is going to be a very well-balanced, social, confident little gal. But these experiences last a lifetime. So providing your puppy with opportunities to interact and play with other social dogs is crucial to proper development and socialization for a lifetime of a happy dog. Thank you for joining us today. It was so fun to show you about puppy socialization and all the ways that we can help our dogs develop properly and learn to be comfortable in the big bad world.